concentrate on Group A in Doha. Time for the national anthems ahead of Netherlands against Ecuador.
Hollanda, Andreas Noberts, Nathan Aki, Virgil van Dijk, Jorian Timber, Denzel Dumfries, Town Companiers, Frankie de Jong, Daley Blind, Tavi Klaassen, Cody Gakpo, Steven Bergwijn, Ecuador, Herman Glendes, Stupanian, Hincapié, Fernan Torres, Poroso, Preciado, Gonzalo Plata e Rickson Mendes, Moise Casido, Ener Valencia, Michel Estrada, هولندا لعبت 3-4-1-2، إكوادور 5-4-1. شكون يربح؟ شكون يربح؟ كنا نقول إكوادور. واحد وسبعين بالمية هولندا تربح. مستعدين.
International stadium ahead of this one, watching the players lining up and listening to those national anthems. You've been there and done that. What is that like, stand that pitch with the national anthem playing with your England kit on?
Personally, keep it together. At that moment when you're singing the national anthem, all these thoughts can flood into your head about where you are, what you're doing, and sometimes you just want to get away from that thought and focus on the game.
And is that the same every single time, or as you become more experienced, you're able to sort of push that to one side?
Push it to one side. Certainly early on, it's just surreal, and I think you can feel quite emotional at that point if you allow yourself to.
It's the pinnacle. It's always the pinnacle. Representing your nation at a World Cup. That is what these players are doing here for the Netherlands and Ecuador. They're lining up for their team photos ahead of the game. And inside this stadium, Matt's already been here during this tournament. In fact, England beat Iran here by 6 goals to 2. You likened it, Matt. I can see what you're saying. Because we've had athletics in here before, the 2019 World Championships were here. It's got those sort of semicircular spaces at either end of the stadium. It does feel a little bit like the London Stadium, doesn't it? West Ham's ground.
Yes, it's London Stadium kind of crossed with the Amex Stadium a little bit in terms of some of the structure. But I didn't feel the England games. It's not the best for atmospheric just because of that distance from the crowd to the pitch. I always like a stadium where the crowd's really close to the side of the action.
The giant World Cup is being wheeled away. It will reappear ahead of another fixture in this World Cup shortly. This is our third commentary of 4 on 5 live in BBC Sounds this afternoon. So far today, we have brought you Wales's painful late defeat against Iran. Time full commentary of England against the USA. 6:06 to follow tonight after the action as well. Chris Sutton and Robbie Savage will be taking the calls. Let's give you the teams then. The Netherlands are ready to go. Ecuador are just in a team huddle. The Netherlands make 3 changes from the win against Senegal. Jurien Timber is in as the right-sided centre back. Now, recently in the Nations League, he started 4 of the 6 games in that position. Matthijs de Ligt started against Senegal, got booked, didn't have the best of games, so Louis van Gaal's made a change there. Teun Koopmeiners of Atalanta comes into the midfield to replace Steven Berghuis, and Davy Klaassen comes in. Vincent Janssen, the centre forward, drops out. It pushes Cody Gakpo a little bit further forward. Long team huddle being taken here by the Ecuadorian team. There's a wonderful sprinkling of identikit replica shirts all around this stadium. Lots of lovely bright yellow and orange everywhere. Countdown to kick off underway. So the Netherlands have the giant Andries Noppert in goal, winning only his second cap for his country. A real left field pick from Louis van Gaal, that one. Timber, Virgil van Dijk and Nathan Ake are the three centre-backs. Denzel Dumfries plays at right wing-back as Van Dijk wins an early header. Daley Blind over on the left-hand side. Teun Koopmeiners and Frankie de Jong, who really did show some of his wonderful touches of class and skill in the opening win against Senegal. Davy Klaassen in the hole, you'd say, sort of the most advanced of the midfield three. Gakpo and Bergwijn as the front two. Memphis Depay, again, as in the first game, we'll probably see appear from the bench. So the Netherlands play from left to right. They're all in orange, black numbers on their backs, and Ecuador are in a lovely sort of rich dark blue. It's centre-back Piero Hincapié has won a header. A second header clears the ball to the halfway line. Felix Torres now leaps high. Estrada nods one to his left-hand side. There's the main man, the skipper, Enner Valencia on the ball. Former Everton and West Ham player. Denzel Dumfries has won it, and Jurrien Timber plays it forward. Very nearly got Bergwijn away down the right-hand side. Cleared up to the halfway line. Estrada is battling for it. He's lost it, and Frankie de Jong with his first touch just plays a very measured pass across to Daley Blind. I'm trying to get an eye on Perozo.
Your animal.
My animal, yeah. Number 25, right side of that Ecuadorian back three.
I think you'll say your inner animal there.
Wait for that, man. That comes later.
Unleash it later.
I tell you, I did have to unleash it when Richarlison scored that goal last night. I had to go to the max. That was.
Did it?
Oh, that was an amazing.
I'll have to have a listen back to that.
De Jong runs forward, tries to control the ball on the volley. Klaassen lays it back to De Jong. De Jong does a little 360 pirouette. Just lays it off to Daley Blind. Blind didn't see a way forwards. It comes back to Ake. Ake across to Van Dijk, playing in his first major tournament for his country. Missed the last one, Euro 2020, with the knee injury. And hits a pass beyond Jurrien Timber, who wasn't ready for it, and it goes out for a throw to Ecuador.
Good start to the game. Really good start to the game. I think it's going to be quite high tempo from how it looks. I remember watching Ecuador in the opening game, and I thought that they really did set about it with a bit of energy, especially in the middle of the park. Casado, Mendes, really good balance with each other, and I'm really looking forward to seeing Hincapié, the left-sided young centre-back. He's only 20, isn't he?
Yeah.
And highly rated.
Yeah, Bayer Leverkusen player. He's on the left side of the back three. In the middle is Felix Torres, who was on the right of the back four in that opening game against Qatar. And Jackson Perozo, the number 25, who is a giant. He's not the tallest at this World Cup, because that honour goes to the Dutch goalkeeper, who's all in green, away to our left. That is Andries Noppert. He actually made Van Dijk look small. He did, standing next to him in the lineups, which tells you how big he is. So Perozo, Torres, Hincapié, the back three for Ecuador. Their goalkeeper is Hernan Galides. Angelo Preciado and Pervis Istupinian of Brighton are the two wing-backs. It's sort of 5-4-1, actually. Estrada, we think, is going to play sort of wide left rather than the front two. It was 4-4-2 in the first game. Man down, Angelo Preciado has just gone down right in the middle of play here. Has got a problem, and the Netherlands have stopped the game, and we're going to have to see if he can get some medical attention. So Gonzalo Plata, Jegson Mendes, who Matt has mentioned in central midfield, Moises Caicedo, another Brighton player who's the star man for Ecuador, Michael Estrada, and then Enner Valencia up top.
Not too sure what this injury is, Ali, to be honest. He's just kind of gone down off the ball, whether or not something happened prior to that.
So he is flat on his back, and the medical team have his legs up in the air. He just stopped. The Netherlands were coming forward, and he just said to Daley Blind, "I'm struggling," and sat down, and the Netherlands put the ball out of play. So it just means, having had a nice sort of build up to the game and a bit of atmosphere, that has dissipated. I think it might be a groin problem.
I think it was a slight groin-related injury. He appears to be okay. He's shrugging it off.
I understood your hand signal there, Mark. I don't think we described. And there's a picture of the Iron Tulip, as they call him, Louis van Gaal. That's a good nickname, isn't it?
Bright tie as well.
Oh, that's Netherlands orange, isn't it?
What is it? It's a luminous, wasn't it?
Yeah, he looked good, and he's got a stern face on, but he's a character, and we love him for it. 4.5 minutes in, Netherlands 0, Ecuador 0. England against USA on the way on 5 Live and BBC Sounds tonight with John Murray, Rob Green and Micah Richards, all part of the coverage with Kelly Cates in the stadium alongside the team. Denzel Dumfries takes a throw. Preciado's he's back on. Yeah, he's back on. He's okay. Yeah. And he's just jogging into his defensive position on the right-hand side. Nathan Ake runs up to the halfway line, ball through the middle to Bergwijn. It bounced up on him, he couldn't quite control it. Klaassen gets onto a loose ball. Here's Gakpo, shot with the left foot. Oh! Stunning finish from Cody Gakpo. It's his second goal of the tournament, just 5 minutes into this game, and that was unstoppable. Netherlands 1, Ecuador 0. Virgil van Dijk comes in and celebrates with a flying karate kick.
Wow, what a strike, Gakpo. Unbelievable finish. Talk about taking an opportunity that has just popped out in front of you. There is no hesitation. Some of the best finishes you see are ones that are so instinctive, and this is exactly that. I mean, it was a really good challenge. I think it was Casado that just got back in, made a really good tackle. The ball popped loose. Klaassen's in there, sets it to one side. It's a touch onto his left foot, and there's a little channel just on that near post. For him to even see that, he uses the player and he smashes it with his left foot. Quality strike, quite low, or should I say like medium height, just inside the post. The goalkeeper, Galindez, yeah, absolutely no chance. I mean, he threw himself at it, but it was probably at least a foot away. It was a brilliant strike.
Doesn't matter what his name is. Man,
no,
he's not saving that.
It didn't matter, honestly. It was a great strike. I mean, he's in good form, isn't he?
Oh, he is, man. And look at his, I mean, this is very early on in his international career. 11th cap. That's his 5th goal already. So he's 1 in 2 straight away for the Netherlands. Yeah. Full of confidence, playing brilliantly at club level, alerting attention of, other clubs all around Europe. We've been talking so much in this tournament about players who are coming to the end of their careers, like Messi and Ronaldo and Neymar, who we now hear is out of the group stage of this tournament. Brazil will hope to have him back for the knockout stages. But it's also a stage for players like Gakpo.
Yeah, I mean, at every World Cup tournament the same. You'll uncover talent. You'll see the young players come through. But he's hit the ground. The fearlessness, and he certainly took that in that manner.
Caicedo's ball in towards the edge of the Dutch penalty area. Platz wasn't quite able to take it in his stride. Here's Preciado, the right wing back who had the groin problem early on in the game. Keeps possession, gets the ball back to Gedson Mendes. Low cross is dealt with by Ake. Clears away with his right foot. Netherlands 1, Ecuador 0. We played 7.5 minutes here. They face Qatar in their final group game. You'd expect them to win that. You'd imagine they'd go through as the winners of this group. Face the runners-up in the England and Wales group, Group B. If Ecuador win this game, can turn this around and come out the win, they would only need to avoid defeat against Senegal in their final group game to get through to the last 16. And the other thing Steve Crossman said, actually importantly, ahead of the game, if it finishes as a draw, Qatar, the hosts, are out before they even play their 3rd game in the competition. Felix Torres, who's the number 2, he's the middle of the 3 centre-backs for Ecuador. He's got sort of bright peroxide streak to his central midfield partner, Gedson Mendes. Now Felix Torres. Torres in the light blue boots. Plays wide to the left to Hincapié. He's closed down. Dumfries in quickly, wins the ball. That'll be a throw-in for Ecuador on the left. So the wing-backs will stay wide, as Matt was saying. They'll try and get those two, Preciado, Estupinian on the ball and get that delivery in for the likes of Estrada and Valencia. Here's Torres shuffling forward inside his own half, plays to his left and is off target, plays the ball straight out of play for a Dutch throw.
I mean, we were wondering, really getting the measure of Ecuador. It's very difficult on that first game, wasn't it? Qatar really didn't turn up and play anywhere, probably nearly as good as what they did today, to be honest. So I think that they never really came under pressure, but they certainly would have been expecting that kind of hammer blow early on. That was a really good piece of play. The goal was absolutely outstanding from Gakpo. So, I don't think they could do too much about that, but this is the challenge for them now, whether or not they can keep their heads up, keep doing what they're doing and see how well they do.
just looking at the table as well, with the Senegal win, they're on 3 points. If the Netherlands win this game, you've got Ecuador and Senegal going head-to-head in the final group game, both sitting on 3 points. So that will be a big one. At the moment, Ecuador's goal difference is one better than Senegal's, and that's what it initially comes down to as the cross comes in from Preciado into the far post. Estepinian heads it down. Valencia hits the volley into the ground, headed away. Valencia immediately reacts, chases it back, might lose it here on the right. Gakpo does brilliantly, kept that in play with a back heel. Wow. And here's De Jong, Coop Miners now.
That right there is exactly what they like to do, Ecuador. Get those sweeping crosses into the box. They load the box with bodies as well. 2 or 3 arriving in there. Any kind of ball back across the goal, there's 2 or 3 Ecuador players just waiting to push in.
Ake was under pressure. He did manage to get his pass back to his goalkeeper, Nopper. Estrada just absolutely shoved him with both hands off balance straight to the floor. Assistant referee spotted it and referee waved play off. Preciado intercepts the crossfield ball, comes flying forward to win a header. That runs to Ake, and Ake stays well away from Estrada. This time, he plays it across to Virgil van Dijk, who's got that lovely sort of lugubrious, casual stride as he brings the ball forward. Plays to his right to Urian Timber. Timber up to the goal scorer, Gakpo. Gakpo in the inside right channel. Just lays it off to Cope Miners. Cope Miners is hustled out of possession. Valencia picks it up for Ecuador, deep inside his own half. Wide he goes to Preciado. Run being made down the right-hand side by Gonzalo Plata. He's one-on-one with Ake. Ake stands his ground, takes the ball off Plata, plays it back to Noppert. And Noppert gets good contact on the left-footed clearance up towards Bergwijn. And Bergwijn has fouled the animal, Perozo. So free kick for Ecuador.
I wasn't too sure what Bergwijn did wrong there, to be honest. Just used his body, backed in a little bit like every centre-forward would do to try and hold the ball up. The referee gave a foul, and I think he looked at the ref and went, it is the animal.
It's the animal.
How can I foul him?
Animal cruelty. It's played back from Estepinian here to Torres. Torres with his right foot up the middle of the pitch here. Estrada's done well to keep control for Ecuador and curls a lovely ball out to the right to Preciado. Poor second touch from him. Blint's able to clear for the Netherlands. Gakpo gets up so well to try and win the header. Comes off his head, but no one there for the Netherlands to take possession. So 13 minutes in, it's Netherlands 1, Ecuador 0. A win that is taking the Netherlands through to the last 16 with a final group game still to come. Estepinian plays back to Torres. Torres under pressure from Bergwijn. First time ball across to Perozo. Perozo back to the goalkeeper, Galindez. Forward to Torres, just outside his penalty area. No pressure on him for now. Rolls a pass into space in the middle of the park. Frankie de Jong read that, comes across, cuts it out. Dumfries is tricked, and that'll be a free kick for the Netherlands.
Read that really well there, Frankie de Jong. I mean, it's not a side of the game that you really associate with him. He's such a quality technician, but out of possession is crucial as well for top players, and he certainly read that really well, just stepped across and won the ball back for Holland.
They are famously, the Netherlands, of course, one of those teams that has never won the World Cup, despite the fact they have come so close and delighted us so much down the years. 3 finals they've lost, 74, 78, and then against Spain in 2010. Cope Miners low ball into the penalty area. Ecuador get bodies in the way. Gakpo lurking on the edge of the box, cleared away from him. De Jong up to win a header, nods it forward. The ball is loose. Here's Gakpo just outside the Ecuadorian penalty area. But Valencia gets onto his pass, and Valencia is suddenly away down the left for Ecuador. Estepinian busting a gut to get ahead of him, then runs into an offside position. Valencia holds on to it. He decides to take on Timber. Timber's too strong for him. Wins the duel, and the ball goes behind for a goal kick to the Netherlands.
I mean, when he gets the ball, there is a different feel about Ecuador. There's almost like this little belief just kicks on when Valencia has the ball and is running a play. He took on too much there, because I think just offload the ball and then recirculate it around the pitch. But he's certainly got a presence for them on the pitch, hasn't he?
Certainly does. 15 minutes gone first half. Early goal from Gakpo. If you missed it, by the way, you can, on most smart speakers, ask BBC Sound. So you speak to your speaker and you say to BBC Sounds, can you rewind a certain number of minutes, or can you rewind to a certain time of the day? So this game kicked off at 4 o'clock. So you say to the speaker, can you rewind to 4 o'clock? You can get the start of the game, you can hear the goal, and then you can catch us up again. Technology these days.
I suppose you can fast forward if you want as well.
Now, they've not quite got to that yet, right? Thankfully for us. Here's Van Dijk inside his penalty area. Cross to Timber. Timber forward to Gakpo. Gakpo just takes a little look on the back of the legs there from Hincapié.
He's bouncing, isn't he? Gakpo, you can tell he just looks bright. He's got that little spring in his step. Why wouldn't you just bang one in from outside the box with your left foot? And he's just popping up all over the pitch, just full of confidence.
Yeah, I always think when you see young players as well, you're trying to get a handle of them, sort of trying to liken them to something. Because of his build, he's so sort of tall, isn't he?
Yeah.
I'm going to work on that one, actually, in the first half here.
Who are you
I don't know.
likening him to?
I'm not sure. In terms of the position he plays, that sort of build and the way he moves.
Well, I know. I mean, you did the previous game, didn't you? And when you look at the team, the one thing that does stand out, or when I looked before, is that in terms of attacking wise, maybe not the names of the past that you associate with this country in terms of Bergkamp and Baston, those type of players. But I mean, he's certainly stepping up in this tournament and showing real attacking quality, even though he's not an out-and-out striker.
Ake's ball to Blint on the left, down the line to Bergwijn. Bergwijn volleys it back. De Jong holds off the challenge from Platter, gives it to Bergwijn. He's under pressure inside his own half, plays back to Ake. Dutch in control here at the moment, leading Ecuador by a goal to nil. And I think particularly having scored a couple of goals, and important goals, because he was the one that made the breakthrough late on against Senegal, just relieves the pressure of not having Depay in the team, so they can work Depay back to fitness and not rush him onto the field. Ball across to Ake. 7 o'clock tonight, don't miss it. 5 Live in BBC Sounds. England against the US. Tuesday, which will be a full commentary on 5 Live in BBC Sounds at 7 o'clock. Wales now have to win against England to give themselves a chance of getting through to the last 16. Gakpo is tackled and the ball goes out for a throw into the Netherlands, just inside the Ecuadorian half on the right. Klaassen lobs it here to Dumfries.
Is that the biggest technical area you've ever seen at a stadium?
It's huge, isn't it? It's like
that's a pitch.
It's a penalty box, isn't it?
Yeah.
It is. It's a long way out to the edge of the pitch. Nice turn from Gakpo. Looks to release Dumfries down the right. Capier and then Torres goes with his left foot. Estupinian can't control it. Goes out for a throw to the Netherlands. The one thing you wonder as well, just going into, depending on what happens in this game, Ecuador in that game against Qatar sort of took their foot off the gas a little bit in the second half. 2-0 in front, didn't go for more goals. If it does come down to goal difference, that might come back to bite them. But still a long way to go in this game. Gakpo, ball bobbles off his knee, tries another back heel to keep it in play. He's actually managed to win Dutch a throw. And he wasn't looking in a very promising position there, so he's done okay for his team. They can start again, throw in just about level with the edge of the Ecuador penalty area. Their manager, Gustavo Alfaro, is a 60-year-old Argentine, and he's gone right to the corner, so he has walked a long way to his right, because it's so wide, the technical area, it takes you almost halfway down the pitch as well to try and get instructions across to his team. Talking about nicknames, his as a kid was Lettuce, because of his wavy hair, man. It's ridiculous, isn't it? I've never heard that before.
What would that relate to a lettuce?
I don't know. It must be
wavy hair.
Must be an Ecuadorian thing. So any friend you've got with wavy hair, you can go with lettuce from now on if you want. 19 minutes gone first half. Ake with a header up in the air. The ball drops inside the Ecuadorian half. Estupinian challenged by Dumfries. That's a foul. Free kick for Ecuador.
First, they've got to try and raise the tempo a little bit this game, Ecuador. It started off, the first 4, 5, 6 minutes. I thought, the goal's gone in. Just gone a little bit flat, haven't they?
Yeah, and it's why you see loads and loads of yellow shirts inside the stadium, but they're not on their feet and behind their team. So you wonder how many of them are you hesitate to ask questions, but genuine Ecuador fans, because their home record in South American qualifying with their fans behind them is unbelievable. They've not got that support, and the Netherlands don't really either.
It's high altitude there as well.
Yeah, that's right, makes a difference. Yeah, Dumfries at pace, running at the Ecuadorian defence. Torres kicks the ball into Dumfries. Dumfries down hurt. Netherlands want the game stopped. Ecuador will do that for them, and they'll knock the ball out of play, and we'll have a break in play. So 20 minutes gone. Netherlands leading Ecuador by a goal to nil. Gakpo is coming over for a drink of water, having scored that goal. Rocket of a shot with his left foot. to put the Netherlands in front. Where's Dumfries? He's okay, I think, isn't he? Yeah, he's walking back to the side of the pitch unaided, so he's got to leave the field to come back on the field, but he's going to be okay.
And I think it was from the tackle. It was more, I think it was Torres, wasn't it, who just volleyed the ball straight into his stomach as he was falling over, just kicked the ball straight into him. I think that's just took the wind out of his sails, but he's backing up on his feet.
So the Netherlands give the ball back to Ecuador. I was about to tell you, it's the first time they've ever met competitively, these two nations. They have played a couple of friendlies, but it's the first competitive international between them here in 2022. Estrada chesting the ball down, bundled to the floor, wants the free kick and gets the free kick. And I've got a question for you, Matt. Do you consider a defeat on penalties in a World Cup knockout game a defeat or a draw against your record as a manager or a team?
Well, if it's a record of defeats and losses, then does it matter if you lose in 90 minutes, 120 minutes, or on penalties? Does it matter? The defeat is the defeat.
I think if it's a knockout game and you lose on penalties, you've lost and you don't go through to the next round. The reason I say that is because I saw in the notes the Netherlands, it says, have only ever lost 2 games against South American opponents, but they have lost more than that because they've lost a couple of penalties.
But then if a team loses a game in extra time, that goes down as a defeat.
Exactly. Yeah.
So
we agree.
What's the difference?
Yeah. Ball back with Galindez, the Ecuadorian goalkeeper. Certainly no penalties involved in this one. That will come later on in the tournament. Felix Torres up the middle of the pitch here. Estrada plays it back to Perozo, right-sided centre-back, across to his right-hand side. Jegson Mendes is out there, and he's being harried and hassled, but he's kept the ball and plays it back to Torres. And as Matt Upson was just saying, they need some help from their fans. They need to up the intensity of the players well. Enner Valencia has dropped deep. Torres just inside his own half, looking for the run of Estrada. Nowhere near him with that pass.
No, it's a poor pass, way too straight. He's on the kind of left-hand side of the pitch. He wants to put a bit more angle on it for the run, but he hits it so straight and it just skips straight through into Noppert.
Ake to Blint on the left. Blint's curling ball down the left wing is a good one, and Bergwijn controls it quickly and starts dribbling at the Ecuadorian defenders. Back heel from him, support from Blint, charging up on the left-hand side. Blint appeals for the throw. That goes Ecuador's way, though, in their right-back position. Preciado takes it quickly. Thrown to Perozo. He's closed down by Bergwijn. Perozo digs his right foot underneath the ball, floats it up to the halfway line. Van Dijk got an initial clearance on it, but now Ecuador away down the right-hand side. Valencia waiting in the middle if they can find him. Cross comes in. Oh, he was lining up the volley. Didn't quite fall for him. Caicedo drives one. That is blocked on the edge of the box. Valencia is there trying to win the header. Beaten in the air by Dumfries. I think he let Dumfries win that because he then knew his teammate was going to get onto it. Valencia finds Caicedo. Caicedo into the box. Little cut back here. And he couldn't get the shot away. Plata. That is better from Ecuador.
You just see those little moments of energy, don't you? That's what Ecuador are all about. The ability to run past people, the pace, certainly in wide areas. I thought Caicedo just overran that ball there. But he managed to flick that back with the outside of his right boot past De Jong. But there's enough Dutch defenders in the box to deal with it.
What is the betting if they do get back in the game? It is Enner Valencia. Having scored the 2, of course, in the opening game, having scored their last 5 goals at the World Cup.
I think it was Plata as well on the wide on the right-hand side. They showed a good bit of pace.
And that's him now. Plata with a low left-footed cross into the penalty area. Timber blocks it. Ecuador come again down the left. Plata plays it back into Estepinian. Gives it back to Ecuador come again down the left. Plata plays it back into Estepinian. Gives it back to Plata. Estepinian again. Trying to get the cross in. Oh, does get it in well to the far post. Get it away by Van Dijk. Second header from Cope Miners. Good little spell for Ecuador here. 20 minutes remaining in the first half. Group A action at World Cup 2022. 5 live on BBC Sounds. Netherlands 1, Ecuador 0. Valencia lays it back to Estrada. Valencia's under pressure. Timber wins it off him. Immediately, Gakpo sets off, hoping for the ball over the top. It's overhit. He won't catch it. The idea was right, but it's back with the Ecuadorian keeper, Hernan Galindez.
I see Virgil van Dijk really being animated at the moment with his teammates, waving his arms up in the air, waving people up the pitch, organising everyone around him. I think he can understand the threat. When that ball's wide, they're a real threat, Ecuador. The quality of crosses are brilliant.
Better noise. So it's that little spell from the team has lifted the fans, and it's that
it's very much the play's having to lift the fans as opposed to the stadium lifting the play.
Yeah. Valencia looking for the 1-2 with Estrada. Estrada's caught surely by Tim, but that's a free kick. Referee didn't like it. Referee is Mustafa Gorbal, Algerian referee, whose shirt almost matches Louis van Gaal's tie. It's probably a slightly darker orange, but it is incredibly bright.
There's a lot of bright colours around. Even the orange in the stadium, it kind of all matches pretty well.
Yeah, it does. Free kick, Ecuador, just inside the Dutch half. Netherlands 1, Ecuador 0. England, USA on the way tonight. Build-up will start after this game. John Murray will be bringing the team news as soon as we get it. We know that Harry Kane is fit and ready to go for England. Kyle Walker, I think, also fit and available for selection. James Maddison, the one who can't be involved as yet. Ball down the right-hand side for Platter to chase. He won't catch it. That goes behind for a goal kick to the Netherlands. And you and I, Matt, will hope that we'll be back in time to watch it, but listen to it at the same time, you see. We can do that over here if we're clever. Sync up the old BBC sounds.
Sounds like a plan. We'll be dashing out of that car park as quick as we can. Wheel spinning.
That's right. Jackson Mendes to Valencia, lays it back to Mendes. Oh, Stepinian made a good run and Mendes couldn't quite find him with the pass. Coat Miners was blocked off there. Surely free kick. No, referee says no. Estepinian, that's a good ball to find Valencia on the left-hand side. Valencia's crossing. Estrada with a flick. That was clever towards the far post. Preciado is there. Step over from Preciado on the turn. Hits the cross. Ake blocks it. That's a corner.
We're getting right back into this game now. Ecuador having some really good sustained patches of pressure. Always from wide areas. Always, we've got 3 players arriving in that box. Lovely little flick from Estrada with his left foot just to get that to the back post.
That is a proper bunch of players around the penalty spot. That is almost the entire set of outfield players, all looking for a partner on the dance floor.
Set pieces, they're a real threat.
You said,
real threat. They scored, I think it's 8 set plays during qualifying. And crosses from wide areas, they love attacking the ball in the air.
So there's a wall of orange. Van Dijk right in amongst it, trying to keep an eye on the Ecuador team that are lined up in single file. Now they make their ones, delivering to the near post. Skiddy one, it wasn't great, cleared. That'll be a throw-in to Ecuador. Platter, 0 out of 10 for the delivery. Well, actually, 0 out of 10 would be straight out of play. Maybe 1.
0 out of 10 would just be missing the ball.
Probably, shot. Throw in Ecuador on the right. Again, you could, when they won that corner, the noise levels went up again. So Ecuador need to keep this up towards half-time. We've got just over 15 minutes to play. Netherlands 1, Ecuador 0. Floated ball up to the edge of the Dutch penalty area. Header won by Estupinian. Estrada, I think, bumped into Van Dijk, knocked him over. And that will be a free kick to the Netherlands. In terms of matching up that commentary with 5 Live and the TV pictures, if it's a BBC game, which I don't think England-USA is tonight, if it's a BBC television game, you can go on the iPlayer and click on World Cup Extra and get it. If it's an ITV game, what I do is just be a little bit clever, get the pictures up, turn the sound down, and then just sync your BBC Sounds listening of our commentary with the pictures. That's the way I'd go. Ake.
Sounds very technical.
Well, it takes a little bit of fiddling and a little bit of work.
Yeah.
But hopefully with no internet glitches, you'll be okay. De Jong striding forward. Thought he was brought down, still on the floor. Oh, might break here for Bergwijn. Edge of the Ecuadorian box. Bergwijn on the dribble. Koopman is in support on the left. Barroso has to be careful with the challenge. Blind plays it back to Klaassen. Here's De Jong. Always seems to have that time. Surrounded by blue shirts. Cross comes in. Initially missed by Torres. Hincapié behind him. Clears it. It's a Dutch corner.
He looks a character, Torres, doesn't he? In the middle of the back 3. There for Ecuador, swings a wild leg at that ball and misses it. And turns around and waves his hands in the air. He's quite an animated character, which I think allows him to go and be really aggressive. Some really good defensive stuff, but maybe a tiny bit rash at times. Just got to try and contain that and be a little bit more solid.
That sort of blonde stripe down the middle of the head makes him look like the evil gremlin. I can't know what the name of the evil. Gizmo was the cute one, but that's
the evil gremlin.
Yeah, in the middle.
There are a lot of nice ones.
Yeah, the Gizmo was a nice one at the start. Corner comes in. Well, that's the problem, you see, Matt. You don't look after them properly. Do you not remember the movie?
You can't feed them after midnight.
You go. Exactly. Ball into the Dutch half. De Jong chases it back. He's under no pressure. Plays across to the right.
You might be eating quite late tonight.
Ball to the right. Stripe, the producers just said Stripe is the Stripe. Of course, it's Stripe, isn't it? Because it's the stripe of Stripe. So there, so we've got the animal and we've got Stripe now. So we just got to come up for one for Hincapié on the left-hand side of the back three. Coat minus to Dumfries, who's right on the touchline on the right. Masson tries to flick a pass down the line towards him, tackled, throw in from Estupinian up towards Estrada. Estrada's done a good job up there for Ecuador in terms of holding things up and flicking things on and battling for the ball. Coat miners down, free kick Netherlands, push and shove between Timber and Estrada.
There's a lot of tussling for the ball in this game at the moment.
Yeah.
Not in terms of tackling and going to ground, but a lot of kind of shoulder to shoulder, grappling for the ball while they're on their feet. It's that type of game at the moment.
Yeah. Just to continue the 80s theme, I'm pretty sure that the guy who played Poncherello in Chips was called Eric Estrada. I think the actor's now, honestly, I mean, I don't know where that's come from. So he might have to be Poncherello up front. Someone's going to have to check that for me back at base as well now. Here's Coat Miners. Coat Miners wins it for the Netherlands. Midway inside the Ecuadorian half. Ball into the edge of the box. Gakpo, little 1-2 with Klaassen. Klaassen couldn't get it back to him. Trips over on the edge of the box. Chance for Ecuador to bring it away. On the turn, looking for the ball wide left. Valencia is there, and I think he's onside. Chests it down. Estupinian, left wing back in the middle. Valencia's going to hit one. Oh, Noppert gets the save. That was fizzing towards the near post. I think it was heading in.
It certainly was heading in. It was well inside that near post. But Noppert had to react. He did it really well, the goalkeeper. The moment he stepped inside Valencia, he's got a good starting position. But it's a really good strike. And again, it's that man. He's so direct. When he gets the ball, something happens.
Yeah.
You know, whether he's running off the ball, he's got a real purpose about his play at the moment.
13 minutes remaining in the first half. 5 live on BBC Sounds. Netherlands 1, Ecuador 0. Estupinian and away swinging corner. Headed away by Urian Timber. Jackson Mendes, diagonal ball in towards the Dutch box. Dumfries heads it away. Throw in for Ecuador on the left. No, offside flag is up, so that'll be a free kick to the Netherlands.
Was it Gizmo, the friendly?
Gizmo was the cute one.
Friendly gremlin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Gizmo was the one that was first bought by the dad. That was looked after, and then all the other ones turned bad. It's a good movie. Good Christmas movie.
I remember it well, yeah.
Yeah.
Have to watch that when I get back.
Exactly, yeah. Netherlands 1, Ecuador 0. And dark night skies. Lovely temperature. Sort of light breeze on the end of the stadium as well this evening. Here's Van Dijk.
It'll be really cool on that pitch because I was pitch side for the England game and it was very cold. All those little holes. See the little circular.
That's blasting out.
That is blasting out.
Really?
Cold air.
Right,
yeah.
Okay.
And there's a lot of them dotted all around the stadium, but pitch side is a lot cooler than where we sat here.
Blint down the line to Klaassen. Klaassen, man behind him. It's Perozo who blocks his little flick, goes out for a throw into the Netherlands on the left, halfway line, leading 1-0 as it stands, heading through to the last 16. Obviously, if England beat the USA tonight in their group, they will be in an extremely strong position in that group as well. Iran sitting on 3 points, Wales just the one, USA just the one as well. Going into that game tonight. Full commentary on the way. Here on 5 Live and Bounce. Bergwijn, good strength, bounces off Perozo. Coat minus, has he got time to get the pass away? Just stumbling forward, but does it. Finds Dumfries. Dumfries in his light green boots. Gakpo's made a good run down the right, not quite in time to get to the ball. It's gone behind for a goal kick.
So at the moment, that moment from Gakpo is going to be really important in this game. They haven't created a lot more, have they, the Dutch at all, in terms of opportunities or really good collective combinations around the box. It hasn't been that kind of performance from them at all.
It's funny, it's almost the reverse of the first game out where they left the goal scoring till late and didn't show it until then. They've shown it early in this game and then it's disappeared.
But they weren't much of a threat in that game either, were they?
No, so Louis van Gaal will need improvement on that front. Memphis Depay definitely will make a difference when he gets into the action. He's been so prolific for them, not only in terms of scoring goals, but creating goals as well. Estupinian with the interception. Caicedo plays it into midfield. There's Plata. Plata has support from Jackson Mendes outside him on the right. Midway inside the Dutch half. They're going to come back to the left here. Estupinian looks up and floats across towards the far post. Noppert's enormous and he's going to come and gobble that up.
I mean, they love a floaty cross. I mean, the amount of times just any kind of opportunity to cross the ball, even from deep, they're going to do it. But like you said, Noppert is so tall, he's going to come and gobble them up all day.
Edgar Davids has just come marching off the Dutch bench to really bark at someone out there on the field. He played Davids?
No, I just remember watching him though.
Yeah,
unbelievable. I remember watching that game was it against Argentina when they went down to 10 men. Is it Argentina?
World Cup game.
World Cup game.
Not the one they won 2-1 with the amazing
Dennis
goal.
Bergkamp.
That goal.
Nutmeg someone and stuck it in the top corner.
98
unbelievable game.
Yeah,
he was unreal in that match, wasn't he?
Brilliant World Cup memories. Throwing for the Netherlands on the right. They're leading Ecuador by 1-0. Talking about all those World Cup conversations, if you've not caught it yet, the Match of the Day Top 10 podcast, well worth a listen, available on the BBC Sounds app. Go searching for that. Also available to watch. They've all been filmed, those episodes, so you can get those on the iPlayer as well. Dumfries' throw up towards Gakpo, tries to lay it off here to Klaassen. But yeah, that threat from the Dutch
it's just not there, is it? It's, you know, one real moment of brilliance, you know, a sharp finish out of nowhere. It's just been the difference in this game, because other than that, you have to say Ecuador are probably pushing a little bit harder and looking a little bit more threatening going forwards.
Yeah. Where is right for the goal. There's a handball there by Caicedo. He felt he was pushed over. He's now going to try and prevent them taking the free kick quickly, and he's got to be careful he doesn't get booked there. Free kick for the Netherlands, but it came as sort of from a loose bounce of a ball, didn't it?
Yeah.
And then they turned it into something
exactly.
brilliant.
It was a tackle, I think, from Caicedo. Came back, won the ball back. It popped into Klaassen.
Yeah.
He laid it off, and then bang! It was a left foot streamer, really.
Yeah. 8 minutes remaining in the first half, and Ake just comes back to the goalkeeper, Noppert, who has been pretty fault in his first game and a half for the Netherlands. As part of his international career, at the age of 28, the ball might drop to Dumfries nearly did high up. Good tackle on him, absolutely right. The ball goes out for a throw into Netherlands on the right. Bergman comes jogging across to take it. Short, stocky striker with the socks rolled down. Plays the ball down the right-hand side. Koopmeiners with the 1-2 with de Jong. Now Bergwijn involved. Good skill. Little drag back from him. Koopmeiners goes for the back heel down the line. That's cut out. Platter. Good vision from Platter there. Little switch pass to the left-hand side. This is Caicedo. Moises Caicedo of Brighton. Back to his Brighton teammate Estupinian. Mendes joins in. Gets it back from Platter. Estupinian involved again on the left. Rolls the pass into the middle. De Jong comes flying in to try and win it. He's done that. Bergwijn controls it just inside Ecuador's half. Challenge from Hincapié. That will be a free kick to the Netherlands.
It's not a bad foul, that, from Hincapié. I thought the Dutch were on the break then, and he just sees the opportunity to step inside. Bergwijn had his body between him and the ball, and he just trips him up. Gets away with no yellow card either.
1-0 to the Netherlands, enough to take them through this evening to the last 16 ahead of their final group game against Qatar. Ake plays to his left. De Jong just inside Ecuador's half. Dark blue shirts closing in on him. Daley Blind under pressure. Manages to keep the ball in play. Comes all the way back to Andries Noppert. We were hearing from Marcel van der Kraan ahead of the game, telling us he comes from a tiny little village with just one pub. But you imagine they're all there watching it. Back in the Netherlands. Here's de Jong.
Forward the back three as well, in the centre. I mean, he's a very laid-back style anyway, the way he plays. But in that three, in the middle there, he really does just orchestrate things. I mean, he just kind of looks like he coasts through the game sometimes, doesn't it? You know, it probably suits him quite a lot to play in the middle of the three.
Yeah, cruises, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does.
You're right. Never looks flustered, and he's doing all the organising as well.
And a lot of that, a lot of gesturing, a lot of arm movement, waving his hands, pulling people about, pushing people up the pitch.
Hincapié plays the ball back to the goalkeeper Galindez, who's only had the one shot to try and save, and he couldn't get anywhere near it early in the game. Valencia deep inside his own half, plays back to Hincapié, the 20-year-old. Ball forward, headed away by Van Dijk. We'll go straight away for a throw-in to Ecuador. 20-year-old. Ball forward, headed away by Van Dijk. We'll go straight away for a throw-in to Ecuador. Manager's a little irate. And, is whirling his arms around to try and get a message across to his team.
I've not seen Van Gaal pacing the...
No.
technical area at all.
No, you won't hear much about. I mean, he's obviously not been well. I think he's really trying to sort of conserve his strength. It's quite noticeable actually in the first game that it was only a couple of times he came out at all, was it? And left it a lot to kind of his fellow coaching staff to do it. Throw in for Ecuador on the left. Estepinian waits to take. 5 minutes remaining in the first half. We'll be handing back to Kelly Cates at half time. She's going to be in the stadium tonight for England against the USA. Full commentary from 7 o'clock UK time. England's second group game after the thumping 6-2 win over Iran, which Matt was here to witness. Ball out for a throw in to the Dutch in the right back position. If England or Wales end up as runners up in Group B, they would play here in the last 16 against the winners of Group A, which could well, if the Netherlands win this, you feel they will go on to win the group. They'd only need a point against Qatar, and you'd imagine that they would win that game. But actually, whether England or Wales were to face the Netherlands, on this evidence so far, hugely troubling. Ecuador, who've done a lot of the pushing in this first half, come forward again. Peroso flicks it into the penalty area. Noppert quickly off his line, dives forward and catches it on the bounce.
He really has been off his line quickly in this game. You know, he's a big fella, but he's not shy in that starting position, and he's read it really well a couple of times when the ball's got played in behind, sometimes wide as well, and he's really come out early and dealt with it. I've been quite impressed with him.
Yeah, it is amazing. Marcel van der Kram was saying to us before the game that he has played fewer club games in his career than Sillessen has played international games.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, it is amazing. And for the last 9 seasons, I think it was, prior to this one, he'd only made 37 first-team appearances wherever he's been. He's now a regular number 1 at Heerenveen in the Eredivisie, but it's classic Van Gaal, out of nowhere, practically.
In fairness to him, though, like, from what I've seen on the eye, he doesn't look like he's that inexperienced, does he? He's not. Good. Yeah, he's making good decisions. They're early. They're positive. So yeah, I mean, he's spotted a few goalkeepers before, hasn't he?
He certainly has. De Jong suddenly picks up the pace, running through the heart of the Ecuadorian midfield, stopped in his tracks. Handball as he fell from De Jong. Ecuador have taken the free kick quickly. De Jong nearly won it back. Lay off to the right-hand side, finds Caicedo. Caicedo's back heel. One back by the Netherlands. Oh, clever from De Jong, little back heel. Could see that coming from up here, but I think more difficult to see down there. Blintz floated, cross on the diagonal, goalkeeper comes, gives it a shout. Just in time, Galindez catches it.
That must have been a big shout, because the way that ball was floating in there, if I was Hincapié, I think I'd have to have just dealt with that. That was a big risk for him to leave that ball. I know he had the shout, but sometimes when you're not too sure, just deal with it yourself and put it out of play.
Torres, Jackson Mendes, the central midfielder, has dropped into the back line here, trying to play out. That's when Netherlands press. De Jong can't win it. Lay off looking for Mendes. Oh, he came flying in hard there on Gakpo. Gakpo takes a tumble. Must have got the ball because the challenge has been deemed okay. In Valencia, who had that stinging right-footed shot, which forced Noppert into the save. 1 minute remaining in the first half. 5 live on BBC Sounds. Netherlands 1, Ecuador 0. And Platter backheels the ball to Estrada. Estrada across to Valencia. He's got Dumfries in front of him. Can't get round him. Plays to Estepinian. Estrada on the stretch. Theatrical fall. Referee's not buying it. Play on, he says. It's Platter, actually, who made the fall. And now he's got to chase back as Dumfries is getting away down the right. Plays forward to Bergwijn. Dumfries continues his run. Pass just in behind him. He's got it caught up between his feet. Trying to work his way round Hincapié. Holds him off, throwing Ecuador.
I thought he should just put that straight in behind for Bergwijn. He was gesturing just to put it in the channel, and then I think he didn't get it early enough and had to adjust his run. But there's not been enough from the Dutch in terms of trying to get behind the Ecuadorian back three. Everything's been in front of them. They've never really got behind them once in this game.
Louis van Gaal said ahead of this game, Depay's had his 30 minutes in the first one, he'd get 45 in the second. I mean, that would really make sense, I think, to get him on the field if they feel he's ready to go. Ecuador attacking down the left. Estepinian as he won a corner. No, the cross is deflected straight up in the air. Van Dijk chests it down on the half volley, just caresses a pass up to Bergwijn. He's off balance. He was pushed over, though, by Hincapié. Free kick for the Netherlands.
Did I just see 3 minutes additional?
I know.
What's going on?
I know, we're feeling short.
Why is that not 9?
I know.
Yeah, short change.
Not enough football.
No. That's got to be the shortest, Jeb. Has there been less than 3?
I think I've seen a 1.
Have you?
No, I must have dreamt that.
Yeah.
Okay, across to the left to Blint. 4 more World Cup commentaries coming your way tomorrow on 5 Live and BBC Sounds. Tunisia, Australia at 10. Poland, Saudi Arabia at 1. France against Denmark. It's a really good game at 4. John Murray alongside Alan Shearer for that one. So Alan Shearer will be joining the 5 Live team as Ecuador win a free kick late in this first half. And then Chris Sutton and I are lucky enough to be going to Argentina against Mexico tomorrow night. That is a big game.
Yeah. Support-wise as well, the Mexicans. Yeah. I mean, I was at their first game, and they just get the atmosphere bouncing.
Yeah. That's huge. They're, 2 sets of fans are so passionate about their nation's fortunes. Obviously, Lionel Messi here, potentially at his last World Cup. Mexico always used to getting through the group stage, and then in recent times, not further than that. But Argentina came in on this unbelievable unbeaten run with expectations of winning the tournament. So that's 7 o'clock tomorrow night. Free kick, whipped in by Estepinian to the far post. Valencia's up with the header. I think he might have won a corner there.
Yeah. How well do they time the jump as well? I mean, the ball comes in and they're very athletic. Valencia especially gets 1 or 2 strides on the opposition, just gets up really well, reads it well. I think he wins the initial header and he heads it down onto the back of a Dutch defender and it goes out for a corner. But every time there's a wide free kick or corner, you can tell that they set up really well and have a lot of belief that they're going to go and win the ball.
Little bit of argy-bargy with Moises Caicedo and Daily Blue, who's behind him. And then you've got this clutch of 4 or 5 of the Ecuadorians waiting to make these timed runs and sort of using each other to shield themselves from Dutch defenders. Corner comes in towards the near post. Shot driven in, deflected, hand in. It was Preciado's strike. It got a touch on the way through. Pervis Estupinian of Albion celebrates the goal right at the end of the first half. Ecuador have their equaliser, or do they? The offside flag is up on field here. VAR will have a look, and it may well be that goal will not stand.
Well, it's very hard to tell because there's so many bodies in that box. Whether or not Estepinian was in an offside position, it's a poor corner again. Kind of scuffs it low, but it's certainly not Estepinian who's in an offside position. But whether or not there's players interfering with play, well, it can't be Estepinian.
It's not. I'll tell you who that is. That's Perozo.
Yeah.
And the decision's been given. That goal doesn't stand. For me, Matt, Nopper is diving to his right, and even though Perozo is in the way of the ball going in the goal, it doesn't touch him, and he's not blocking Nopper.
It's such a shame for them that he's in that position because he's having absolutely no effect on the outcome. Yeah.
But that's the point, isn't it?
I agree.
No effect.
There's no effect on the outcome there whatsoever.
Well, there we go. The half-time whistle blows, and there is something to talk about. And the Ecuadorian players are right over to the referee to have a word. VAR made the decision very quickly. Noppert had thrown himself to the right-hand side. Preciado had blasted the shot. Estepinian got the touch. Noppert already on his way down. Now, there's no doubt Perozo, Matt, is in the offside position.
Yeah.
Doesn't touch the ball. Is he affecting play there?
Well, he's right across the goalkeeper's line of vision.
Is he, though? Because he's gone. The goalkeeper's gone.
Exactly. He's already fallen to his right. So if he was there or not there, it wouldn't have changed anything.
Exactly.
It wouldn't have changed anything. But the facts are that he was there. So they've just looked at it in that, and they've interpreted it in that way, haven't they?
Yeah. Decision made quickly.
Yeah.
Ecuador's players not happy. Ecuadorian fans not happy. And at half-time, Kelly, Netherlands lead Ecuador by a 0-0.
Ali, thank you very much. I've not seen the replay just yet, but what I am watching are the furious and disappointed Ecuador players as they leave the field of play at the end of that first half. A big controversial moment to end the half. And I was going to ask you, Matt, about Netherlands in this. They're about to become, or they were about to become, on track to become the first team to qualify for the knockout stages of this World Cup. And now the question I was going to ask you is whether you think they've been particularly impressive or just competent.
They haven't been particularly impressive at all to me, to be honest, Kelly. And I think if they had have done that, if they go on and win this game, then they'll probably be thinking, well, that was relatively straightforward. We haven't really had to turn up and be the best version of ourselves that we can be, and we're already through to the next stage. So I think they lack real attacking consistency, creativeness, movement in those front two, the ability to, there's loads of things for me that they're just not doing that well. And I think that this game is far from over. It's been a bit dull at times in terms of the tempo's just dropped right down. And whether or not Ecuador can keep pushing, they have these surges of play. When the ball's wide, they love to cross the ball. It doesn't surprise me that goal's come from a set play. So they're a real threat from that. But Holland, in terms of offering something going forwards, Kelly, other than that moment of real brilliance from Gakpo, they've just had nothing.
Thank you very much for now to Matthew Upson and Alistair Bruce Ball. We'll be back with them very shortly. Second half of Netherlands against Ecuador. Netherlands are 1-0 up after that controversial disallowed goal for Ecuador right at the end of the first half. We're keeping an eye on that from the Al Bayt Stadium, where England are all set to take on the USA. That game kicks off at 7 o'clock, and there will, of course, be full commentary. We're going to start to build up to that after the BBC News with Richard Foster.
Take the World Cup with you, Qatar 2022.
On BBC Sounds, this is BBC Radio 5 Live.
A woman with Down syndrome has lost an appeal over laws allowing the abortion of babies with her condition up until birth. Heidi Krauser argued that parts of the Abortion Act amounted to discrimination.
Gakpo Forlag Klasin Shoot Map Gakpo im 6. Minuten Shoot Map von Kolumbien, Preciado, Valencia und Sacido. Estrada, Valencia und Valencia. Ballbesitz Holland 49%, Ecuador 51%, Schüsse gesamt Holland 1, Ecuador 6. Aufs Tor Holland 1, Ecuador 1. Schüsse neben das Tor Holland, Ecuador 1. Geblockte Schüsse Holland, Ecuador 4. Eckstraße Holland oder Niederlande 1, Ecuador 3. Abseits Holland, Ecuador 3. Fouls Niederlande 9 und Ecuador 6. Schüsse innerhalb des Straf Holland. Nee, Ecuador 3. Schüsse außerhalb des Strafraums. Niederland 1, Ecuador 3. Paraden. Holland 1, Ecuador 0. Pässe. Niederland 247 Pässe. Ecuador 248. Engpässe oder Pässe 209. Engpasspässe von Niederland und 215 Pässe von Ecuador. 87%. Lange Bälle 59%. Flanken 0%. Niederlande 21%. Ecuador. Dribblings 100%. Niederlande 13%. Ecuador. Ballverlust 60%. 60 von Niederland, 76 von Ecuador. Gewonnen Zweikämpfe 28 Niederland, 21 Ecuador. Gewonnene Luftzweikämpfe Niederland 6 und Ecuador 4. Gretchen 15 von Niederland und 8 von Ecuador. Abgefangene Bälle 4 von Radeira. Paranazero. Eins zu 0 von Niederland. Gudi Gakpo. Yeah, we love Ecuador. We love Ecuador. We love Ecuador. You love Ecuador. Are you love Ecuador? Come on, Ecuador. Ich habe ein Problem. Andreas Noberts. 6 Punkte. Nathan Aki 7 Punkte. Virgil van Dijk 6 Punkte. Julian Timber 6 Punkte. Dali Blind 6 Punkte. Frankie de Jong 6 Punkte auch. Denzel Dumfries. What's that brother?
Almost a big brother, little brother kind of relationship.
Yeah, so I am curious to that effect. I heard Gareth Southgate on the sound you guys played coming in. He talks about the respect for opponent. I don't think he's going to say, although I have seen other journalists and pundits and former players saying that they expect this to be a pretty comfortable win for England. I don't see it that way, but I might have red, white, and blue lenses on right now.
Well, what do you think, Robert? Do you think there's a danger of underestimating the US in this one, or do you think that England will be well aware of any threat that they?
I think you look at that first game against Wales and how they caught them really cold, and just that opening game, and you can see on the players that they were so fast out of the blocks and such a high press and so aggressive off the ball that Wales didn't have an answer in that first half until they changed it up and brought keeper Moore on. So I think they've really very quickly learned, and I think from that you turn around and say, look, professional football's at the top level, learn during games. What they also do is watch the other games and know the ins and outs. They won't take this lightly.
Green, part of our commentary team here at the Albert Stadium this evening. We'll be hearing more from him later, and we will ask him about that match in 2010. Don't worry about it. Stuart Holden, thank you so much for coming over to talk to us.
Good luck.
Crossing the divide in the commentary box here at the Albert Stadium. So kickoff in this one is at 7 o'clock. Netherlands leading Ecuador by 1-0. Let's and join Matthew Upson and Alistair Bruce Ball.
Thank you, Kelly. Teams just making their way back onto the field here. Netherlands, as it stands, heading through to the last 16. England fans, Wales fans will want to keep an eye on this group as well. The winners of this group, Group A, will meet the runners-up in the England and Wales group. The runners-up in this group meet the winners of that group that contains England and Wales. As we expected, Matt Upson, change at half-time. Memphis, Louis Van Gaal told us, he said, 30 minutes in the first game. Depay's going to get 45 minutes in the second game. Here he is, Memphis Depay on, and seemingly enjoying himself, because the first thing he's done is walk to the middle of the pitch and put both feet on the ball and just stand tall on it.
Well, he probably needs a little bit of height on that ball. He's not the tallest of players, but he certainly looks very strong. I was watching him warm up. Real powerful legs, hasn't he? And I think they'll benefit from someone like him, maybe. They weren't quite cutting enough in that first half, where Bergwijn didn't really stamp his authority on the game or get anything in behind the Ecuadorians. So maybe Depay bring a little bit more life to that front line.
Yeah, Louis Van Gaal is gently easing him back into action. That substitution just being announced on the tannoy, which is booming around the Khalifa International Stadium, because before the substitute appearance against Senegal on match day 1 at this World Cup, his last appearance for Barcelona was back in mid-September. Has had a hamstring problem. They're being extremely careful with him. You think they are going to get through this group? They're probably going to get through as group winners, and he's going to be massively important to them as they go through this tournament. So Andries Noppert in goal, Julian Timber, Virgil van Dijk, Nathan Ake, the 3 centre-backs, Denzel Dumfries and Daley Blind, the wing-backs, Teun Koopmeiners, Frenkie de Jong in central midfield, with David Klaassen as the number 10, now playing behind Cody Gakpo, the goal scorer, and Memphis Depay. Little flick pass there from Angelo Preciado has hit the referee. So that'll be a drop ball. It will come back to Ecuador. They're feeling a little hard done by. They had the ball in the back of the Dutch net just before halftime. Ruled out for offside because their centre-back, Jackson Perozo, was in an offside position where he was actually affecting play and in the goalkeeper's eye line. Nopper had already thrown himself to the right-hand side to try and save the shot that Estupinian then deflected past him. That is the debate they were having as the players marched into the tunnel. Challenge on Caicedo. Free kick. They need to try and sort of pick up, Matt, immediately where they sort of left. As you said in the first half, they just played in spells, didn't they, Ecuador?
Yeah, it's like spurts of
Spells, didn't they, Ecuador?
Yeah, it's like spurts of pressure and movement. When they run off the ball or when they do something, it's with real purpose, isn't it? They've got quite an energy and physicality about them. There's a free kick now from deep, just inside the Dutch half. Nearly everyone's forward and the ball's going right in the box.
Estupinian puts absolutely everything into that. Real sort of vicious dip and spin on the ball. It's headed away. And there's another ball coming in straight away from Platz towards the post. And that's Estupinian, I think, who's attacking it on the far side. Nopper loves those. When he sees those from a long way off, he's got that height advantage and he comes out and grabs it.
Yeah, the ball's in the air a long time. It was floated towards that back. Makes it like really, it's quite laid back, isn't it? For somebody that's so inexperienced. He doesn't look on edge at all.
Oh, looks very confident. Ecuador, Hernan Galindez in goal. Jackson Perozo, the animal. Felix Torres, we've called Stripe, and Piero Hincapié, three centre-backs. Angelo Preciado, right wing back. Estupinian on the left-hand side. Gonzalo Plata, Jex Mendes, and Moises Caicedo as a midfield three with Michael Estrada and Valencia, the skipper, Ecuador's a record goal scorer up front. Throw in for Ecuador on the right, inside their own half. They're in dark blue kits, which contrasts with the bright yellow Ecuador shirt that we can see all around the stadium. White shorts, white socks, playing from left to right in the second half as we look down.
I mean, the only thing that Nopper doesn't have on his body that isn't lime, luminous green are his gloves on.
Yes.
And he's got boots, socks, kit, the lot.
Yeah, totally. And you can't even, I think he's a socks over the knees fella, so you can't even see flesh there. Nopper might almost get caught in possession there, just clears in time with his left foot under pressure. Ball's loose inside the Dutch half. Frankie de Jong there. Short little pass. Ecuador win it. They're hungry. Plata plays it to his left-hand side. Estupinian hits the shot. Nopper saves. Rebound stuck in. And this time the flag stays down. And Ecuador have their equaliser. Guess who? Enner Valencia scores again for Ecuador. 6 World Cup goals in a row for his country. The substitutes come rushing off the bench to celebrate. VAR will check the offside. But goodness me, that man has done so much for his country. Netherlands 1, Ecuador 1.
Well, that's nothing more than what they deserve from this game so far. They had one disallowed just before half-time. But the moment this ball gets turned over in the middle, it was a brilliant piece of midfield play. I'm not too sure if it was Mendes or Caicedo who wins the initial tackle. I'll have to have a look on the replay, but it's a brilliant tackle. And the ball just pops out wide. And all of a sudden, there's a little 1v1 situation. Van Dijk stayed inside the 18-yard box. He didn't come too far. Runs loose into the pitch. It's a brilliant tackle. It pops back out into the wide area. But from then on, the shot goes in. It's a decent save from Nopper. Parries it out, but he can do nothing with the player, Valencia, following in. Left foot shot across the box. It's low. He can't really do too much more with it other than guide the ball a bit further wide.
The replays I've seen as well, in line with the defender, I'm sure Ake's playing him onside. The VAR's checked it. We're back on. Netherlands 1, Ecuador 1. Enner Valencia, 6 World Cup goals in a row for his country, equals the record in World Cup history. Other players who've done that for their country: Eusebio, the great Eusebio of Portugal, the great Paolo Rossi of Italy, and Oleg Solenko.
It's a little bit passive of the Dutch as well, didn't you find? You know, that ball broke out in the middle of the park, but all of a sudden, it's like they're not getting out and being physical. It's just kind of dropping off all the time, and it just seemed a little bit easy there for Ecuador once that midfield tackle was won.
If the game finishes as a draw, Qatar are out. They will be out of the World Cup. Ecuadorian goalkeeper Galindez gets his clearance away just in time. So that's really set us up very nicely for the second half here. This is your hors d'oeuvre, commentary of the day on 5 Live on BBC Sounds, because next up from 7 o'clock this evening, kick-off England, USA in Group B, England's second game in the tournament. Full commentary on the way. Nice passing from the Dutch. Klaassen to his left-hand side. Here's the Pie. Steps inside Barroso. Looks for a little flick pass into the box. No one there in a bright orange shirt to get on the end of it. Ake jumps to win a header, not into Estrada, and that'll be a throw-in to the Netherlands. So you'll have the Netherlands on 4 points, Ecuador on 4 points, Senegal on 3 points, and Qatar on no points. So even if Qatar were to be Netherlands, they'd only get to 3. They couldn't catch the Netherlands or Ecuador. So they will be out before even playing their final game. Listen to that all of a sudden from nowhere. That's brilliant.
There's a lot of yellow shirts bouncing up and down, isn't there, in the stadium?
7 minutes gone. Ball over the top towards Depay. Torres challenges him, nods it away, and Barroso can't keep it in play. Sliding in, trying to clear with his right foot before he got across the byline, so the Netherlands have a corner. So they've conceded their first goal of this World Cup. Enner Valencia already has 3 to his name.
Well, he's gone through fire today, isn't he, Valencia?
So his manager said he'd do. He was taking some knocks in the opening game against Qatar and did look in real trouble with his knee at one point, but he's out there.
Well, he's on fire, isn't he?
He certainly is. Gakpo curled into the edge of the 6-yard box. Ake jumps, couldn't get a header on it. Blint chases it out to the right. What a lovely flick to release Estepinian. Estepinian's got Plata running ahead of him. He's challenged, though, by Coke Miners, throwing for Ecuador. We've got a game on our hands, I think, Matt.
We have. That was Mendes there, just spun, and just a lovely little back heel. Really cheeky, but it is game on. But if I'm honest, I'm looking at Ecuador thinking, well, they're in the driving seat at the moment.
Absolutely. Ake to his left finds De Jong. De Jong gives it back to Ake. Ake whips it out to the left. Low pass. Depay's on the move if Blint can find him. Blint curls the ball. He tries to curl it around Barroso. Barroso leaps and heads it out for a throw.
It's a strange choice of pass there from Blint with his left foot. I thought he just played that more straighter down the channel, just into the space. He tried to clip it actually direct into Depay.
He gave Barroso more of a chance than he to intercept it.
It was going to be intercepted, whereas, you know, the amount of times he's had a ball on this channel daily, that left foot, he can just spin that right down the line and almost curl it into the channel, and he didn't opt to do that. He tried to play it directly to Depay, and it got cut out easily.
Netherlands 1, Ecuador 1. So Netherlands stung into life a little bit at the start of the... So Netherlands stung into life a little bit at the start of the second half. Timber plays to his right, ball with the outside of the left foot, looking for Gakpo. Gakpo down by the byline on the right, wants a corner. Decision goes against him. Exasperate, both hands to his head. Can't believe he didn't get it. We'll have a look on the replay.
It looked the right decision from Moran. I'm not too sure if there is any contact from the Ecuadorian player. It was Caicedo. As I look at the replay of the goal, Moises Caicedo with the tackle in midfield, very much like it, wasn't it? I mean, they snap into those situations, the Ecuadorian two in the middle, Mendes and Caicedo. With any loose ball, or they just anticipate those challenges really well.
There's not too much more Nopper could have done there, could he? I mean, he got down well, actually, to make the save. I know sometimes we talk about sort of palming it away from goal, but it was just instinctive, wasn't it?
I think it was a hard position for him because it was quite close to his feet and it was low. And when you're such a tall man, getting down quickly around your ankles down there, just getting there and stopping the ball is your primary objective. And then where it pops out to, you're kind of powerless, really.
Yeah, you're speaking to the wrong guy there, Matt, as you know.
Well, you obviously know what it's like to have to get down low from such a tall height, Ali.
Throwing on the right for Ecuador. 1-1 in Group A. Fascinating group now. Senegal winners earlier on today against Qatar by 3-1, so they've got their 3 points. Netherlands and Ecuador will both be on 4 points going into the final group games if this game finishes level. Can Enner Valencia hit a 7th World Cup goal? Let's wait and see. Preciado chasing the ball down the right, couldn't catch it. Tried to get the cross in, goes behind for a goal kick to the Netherlands. Van Dijk's frustrated, smashes the ball away into the stands, which is some effort actually, because that is a big old hoop. You've got to give it to clear the area surrounding the pitch to get it into the stands here.
I like the body language of the Ecuadorians as well. There's a real bounce about them the whole game, isn't there? I think it's very contrasting to the Dutch. If anything, I look at the Dutch, they look a little bit laid back for me. And that's fine, being controlled and being calm in possession, all that. But every now and then, there's got to be a bit more edge to your play.
Depay lets the ball run across his body, couldn't keep it. Mendes plays it forward to Caicedo. Estrada takes it off him, looking for Valencia, might run to Caicedo. Mendes flying into the back of Depay. Netherlands won't like that. Gakpo's done really well to keep his feet there, being chased by a whole host of opponents there. He's brought down. Free kick for the Netherlands. Depay's on his feet, and the Netherlands little bit unhappy about some of the treatment they're receiving. But that is exactly what you're just saying.
Absolutely. Mendes and Caicedo, exactly again. In that centre circle area, they are snapping into tackles. Any loose ball. In fact, it doesn't have to be a loose ball. If anyone's in possession of it, they're just hunting it down.
Chiche, the Brazilian head coach, there's a yellow card gone up there.
Who's that for? There you go. I'll put you on the spot.
I'll tell you what, I'm going to wait for it to appear on the screen and then I'll tell you. He said that he fancied Ecuador could be one of the surprise packages. Now, he would know because obviously his Brazilian team have faced them in qualifying. I think Ecuador drew against them at home. It's Mendes.
Which is whether or not they'll take an edge off his play. I mean, he's probably had a few opportunities.
Yeah.
I think it was Mendes anyway.
Jackson Mendes.
It is. It's for the tackle on Memphis Depay.
Gets the booking.
He's been excellent.
It was booked, yeah. It was booked.
He's got a nice little partnership in there with Caicedo.
Yeah, that is a real shame for him and for the Ecuadorian team. Free kick is taken, swung into the Ecuador penalty area. Mendes is immediately there again, though, to knock it back to Preciado. Long ball over the top, chased by Plata, cut by Timber. That is over on the left-hand side, and knocks the ball up. No, it's Gakpo, I beg your pardon.
Yeah.
Gakpo is back there doing the defending.
Plays in the MLS as well, Mendes, doesn't he?
Yeah, Gareth Bale teammate.
Yeah.
For Los Angeles FC. And Uncle Edison is an Ecuadorian legend, having been part of the team in the 2002-2006 World Cups.
Right.
2006, they got through the group stages, met England in the last 16, and David Beckham whipped in a free kick and knocked them out. But yes, he comes from a famous footballing family. And the other little fact I got for you on Angelo Preciado is taking that throw, collects trainers. Apparently there's an astonishing collection of trainers.
That's a nice thing to collect.
Well, exactly. Here's Preciado. Oh, look at that. Dancing in front of the ball. Couple of step-overs. Gets the cross in, though. Oh, good hit from Valencia, edge of the box. Blocked. Plata! Oh, it's hit the bar. Come down to Valencia, still inside the Dutch penalty area. With his right foot, tries to get the cross in. The ball's pinging around, and Van Dijk is eventually there to tidy it up. Goodness me. 2 chances there for Ecuador to go in front. The first shot hit with real power that was blocked, and then the one coming off the bar.
Right, Ecuador absolutely peppering the Dutch goal at the moment. They just can't deal with him. The intensity, the pace. Lovely first strike from Valencia, and the left-footed effort there off the crossbar and down onto the floor. Brilliant strike from Plata. Nowhere near it. No matter how tall he is, he couldn't get his hand anywhere near that. That was flying into the top corner.
I think Valencia's strike before that led to that second strike might have been heading in for the bottom corner as well.
Maybe it was close. I mean, he didn't know it was Van Dijk it struck. He didn't know anything about it. He was just standing still, just hitting straight in the shin. But it's those little moments, and they're really intense, aren't they? They're like quite frantic.
Yeah.
But they're effective.
Koopmeiners playing to the right-hand side. Dumfries can't get past Estupinian. Koopmeiners there to help out. Still wide on the right, looking to get a crossing. Can he win a corner for the Netherlands? No, Ecuador have kept that in play, and it's eventually gone out for a throw. Now, Ecuador, you'd say, have the harder final group game because they are up against Senegal. Netherlands, I think, would feel more comfortable against Qatar. So were Ecuador to win this, I think Netherlands would probably feel, well, you know, we'll take 3 points from Qatar. We'll end up on 6. Ecuador, if they win this, would be on 6.
Looking at this game now, if you were England, who would you rather play if England were to finish top?
Netherlands.
Would you?
I think so, yeah.
I think I'd
because
agree
of the intensity of Ecuador and how much they seem to want it.
I think I agree with you.
Gakpo's down, doesn't get the free kick. The free kick goes the other way, and this game at the moment is going Ecuador's way. They have equalised through Enner Valencia. Netherlands 1, Ecuador 1. Netherlands getting frustrated and het up.
A lot of high fives knocking about here for Ecuador. They're
proper team.
Good team spirit.
Real team, aren't they, man? Yeah. Absolutely. So their free kick, Galindez, the goalkeeper, wants to take it from inside his penalty area. He's going to be moved over a little to his left-hand side. Hour and 40 minutes away, if I'm doing my maths correctly, from England against the USA. Full commentary on the way here. 5 Live on BBC Sounds. You don't need to miss a second. If you've got something to do this evening, head out in the car for 10 minutes. BBC Sounds on your device will have you covered. You won't need to miss a moment. John Murray, Rob Green, Michael Richards, all part of the team. Ball inside the Netherlands penalty area. Blint's clearance is Preciado. Preciado can't keep it in. Has a swing at the ball behind the goal line just to waste a bit of time, and then goes tearing back down that touchline to get in position. But already Nopper has got the game back underway. 6:06 tonight as well to discuss all the football from today. Wales fans, you may well want your say as well on what turned out to be a very disappointing game in the early kickoff today. Wales 0, Iran 2. 2 late goals for Iran in that one just after Wayne Hennessy was sent off. So Chris Sutton and Robbie Savage taking the calls, and all the reaction, all the debate, all the analysis, as always, in your must-listen World Cup Daily podcast. And Matt, sitting here on my right, you're on breakfast duty tomorrow, aren't you?
I am breakfast duty tomorrow, yes.
With Rick Edwards ahead of our full commentary.
That's
so
correct.
6 o'clock in the UK, Rick with Matt, Peter Schmeichel, and from the Welsh point of view, Danny Gavadon is going to be on the show as well. De Jong on the ball for the Netherlands, who need to try and match the intensity of their opponents. De Jong is just drifting into his own half here, plays it to Van Dijk, gives it back to De Jong. They've worked the space nicely. Cope Miners brings it forward in the inside left channel. Good noise inside the stadium as Blint finds Depay. Depay is about 35 yards from goal, central position, works it onto his right foot, low pass to Gakpo, tries to get it back to Depay and couldn't get the shot away on the edge of the box. Torres clears, bounces back to him, he heads it away. Mendes with a header forward, flicked on by Platter, chased by Estrada. This could be interesting. Estrada against Van Dijk, cool as you like. Van Dijk deals with it.
He just felt Estrada wanted to get that ball in right into the space, didn't he? I think he'd really fancy himself if the ball went 10 yards over the top of Van Dijk there.
Depay with a little flick and to collect the ball. Hincapié, happy to go long here. Thumps the ball downfield. Timber jumps, nods the ball into Valencia. Valencia now one-on-one with Timber into the penalty area. Dumfries back to try and help out. Runs to Estrada, no power on the shot, just dribbles into the arms of Noppert.
I tell you what, they've got a real knack of picking people out in the box as well when they're wide. That ball from Valencia is really clever. He gets his head up, he uses his left foot, and he just pulls it back just beyond the penalty spot. And if it had been a better strike there from Estrada, gets no confidence with his left foot to really hit that ball.
I was right. Eric Estrada just found him. Hello.
The picture.
I'm delighted. Exactly. Do you remember Chips?
I don't know.
Oh, Chips. They were the Californian highway patrol.
It's a,
on
little
two
bit kind of
motorbikes.
Karate Kid Daniel LaRusso.
Yeah,
with the hair.
The big, oh yeah, proper
hair
80s
goes.
hair. Yeah. Some listeners will know what I'm talking about.
I don't know what program you're talking about there.
Oh, it was brilliant. They were two cops on bikes. Poncharello and John.
Push bikes or motorbikes?
No, come on.
They're cooler than that.
Proper yeah, absolutely. Ake plays to Depay. 25 minutes to go in this game. Netherlands 1, Ecuador 1. De Jong forward to Ake. Ake in the middle of the Ecuadorian half. Jackson Mendes is just going to leave him alone. He's not going to go in for any unnecessary challenges. He's on the yellow card. And he's already missing that next game. Big game for Ecuador against Saul. And that's a misplaced pass from Dumfries, which is getting the boos, the jeers and the whistles as Netherlands build again from inside their own half. Van Dijk, cross to Ake, still quite slow from the Netherlands.
I mean, you've seen a couple of little things from Depay, haven't you? Just that moment there where he popped it in, got it back, nearly got a shot off. You can see that he looks a bit, sharper with the ball and more creative, but they've not really improved much in this second half.
Blint to Klassen. Gakpo on the turn edge of the box, lays it back, and the shot goes flying over the bar from Cope Miners. Now, that was nicely worked. Good ball. The finish just wasn't there.
It was a poor finish, wasn't it? Like I say, nice build-up, clever little layoff onto the left foot of Cope Miners, but it just never looked comfortable at all. Didn't strike the ball with any conviction, leaning back. Look how far wide that was. You see how far wide it was? Miles off.
Other sport to look out for on 5 Live this weekend. Boxing 10:15 tomorrow night. Dillian White against Jermaine Franklin at Wembley. Got full commentary on that one. The ball's gone behind for Ecuador goal kick here. During our World Cup coverage tomorrow, we'll keep you updated on the latest autumn internationals in the rugby union. Wales against Australia, England against South Africa. A couple of big games well worth catching up with the Rugby Union Weekly on the BBC Sounds app. to type for those games, and 5 FA Cup second round commentaries over the weekend on Radio 5 Sports Extra. FA Cup second round. It's a weird thing to be talking about when you're sitting.
It really does, yeah.
Watching the Netherlands against Ecuador in the World Cup. It's 1-1. Van Dijk's let for a header. Free kick is given to Van Dijk, even though it's Estrada who's flat on his back, who's come off worse in the battle. So Van Dijk needs to rally the troops a bit here, but it's very similar to the first game that I saw against Senegal. And the strange thing is, Matt, because I've not watched masses of them live under Van Gaal, but they're unbeaten since Van Gaal returned as national team manager, scoring loads of goals.
Yeah.
But it's just a bit sluggish.
There's a lot of promising talk about the Dutch coming into the tournament, wasn't there? They've spent quite a few years, in the shadows, really, haven't they? Rebuilding the team and trying to get back some of that quality that they've had in past teams. But I'm not seeing it here at all. And you talk about the fight that we've seen on the pitch there and the battle. Well, Ecuador, for me, coming out on top of most of those, and that's one of the most disappointing things about the Dutch performance. It's just not enough edge.
Have won a throw on the left. I think Dutch are getting ready to make another change. Pai came on at half-time. Involved here, he gets the ball from Blin, not the best pass back from Blin. So Perozo was able to win it back for Ecuador. Played forward to Estrada. Platter making the run down the right and couldn't control the pass. He stretched. It's gone beyond him. It's gone out for a throw. Netherlands, but Platter with the shot off the crossbar. Valencia with the shot blocked by Van Dijk. Here is Van Dijk. Striding forward, stops, plays it to his left to De Jong. De Jong is walking. He's got no movement whatsoever ahead of him. You see all the orange shirts. They're all stood totally still. Van Dijk plays low to his right. Here's Timber. Timber's got Dumfries ahead of him, wide on the right. I mean, you see none of Dumfries going up and down that right-hand side.
None of the energy, the drive. We've seen plenty of it from Ecuador. The way they've ran off the ball into space, be unselfish, how they've played. They just, as a team, we mentioned earlier, as a team, they just look better collectively, don't they, in terms of that they're working really hard for each other.
Steven Berghuis is coming on, and Davy Klaassen is coming off. So that's the change for the Netherlands. Depay is already on. I don't know about you, Matt. I don't mind them when they sort of do one every 10 minutes and you can get your head around. It's when they do 4 at a time.
Can you manage that? That one's okay.
I've got that. Berghuis,
that's in the
for
bag.
Klaassen, yeah, exactly.
When there's a 3 and then a 2. 3.
For Ecuador, the ball bounces loose inside their half. Mendes there flexes the neck muscles and powers a header forward. Van Dijk just pushes the ball down the left for Platter to chase. Estupinian is down and just sorting out his left boot at the moment. By the way, if you haven't heard, the news we got just ahead of kick-off in this one, not good news the tournament, actually. Neymar, we've heard, is out for the group stages of the World Cup. So Brazil, having won their opening game, got games against Switzerland and Cameroon in their group, and Neymar will not feature, we hear, in either of those, but they'll hope he's back for the knockout stages. Here's Coke Miners. Ball comes in from the right. But
great pressure, isn't it, from Ecuador? I mean, they're just like swarm over those orange shirts when they're in those situations. They physically really do get after it.
Yeah, Netherlands couldn't find a way through, and in the end, Gakpo just shoves Estupinian in the back, and that was out of sheer frustration, chasing him, couldn't catch him, knocks him over, and that'll be a free kick to Ecuador, who've been the better team.
They have. I mean, look at the attempts on goal. If I look at your little stat screen there, I mean, there's a significant difference in terms of the attempts on goal from Ecuador are miles ahead.
Yeah, total attempts on goal from the Netherlands 2, 1 goal scored, 11 from Ecuador. So those are on target, aren't they? 1 on target, 3 on target.
Yeah.
1-1. Netherlands, Ecuador. Van Dijk once more, whirling his hand around in possession of the ball. Doesn't see an option forward. Plays it back here to his goalkeeper, Noppert. Gives it straight back to Van Dijk. The Ecuadorian front 3 just stand off him. Plays forward here to Berghuis. Berghuis on the turn in midfield. Curls a ball with his left foot to Blin. That's difficult to control. He can't control. Goes out for a throw. Is it difficult to control, or am I being a bit kind to Daley Blind?
No, I don't think it was a great ball. It was behind him. It skipped up in front of him, so it's kind of bouncing up around your knee. It came off his shin, didn't it? I mean, but that says a bit about the performance. It's not a zip to this performance at all, has there?
No. Scored in the 8th minute. Cody Gakpo got it. And that came from a loose ball just outside the penalty area. Netherlands worked it brilliantly, and the shot was an absolute screamer. But since then, it's been very much Ecuador's game. And the ball now has gone behind for a Netherlands goal kick. So we are into the last 20 minutes here. Then we'll have last bit of build-up to England's second game at this tournament. They're up against the USA. Full commentary from 7 o'clock UK time. Chris Sutton and Robbie Savage taking the calls after the game for an hour tonight from 10 o'clock this evening. So game kicks off at 7. Obviously go through until about 9 o'clock. Then you've got all the post-match reaction. And then Chris and Robbie will take the calls on 6:06 from 10 until 11. Here come Ecuador down the left. Cross in. Headed away for now by Van Dijk. Caicedo brings it down, tries to get the shot away. Ball loose outside the Dutch penalty area. Possibly a chance to break for Dumfries. And Hincapie's got it covered. Dumfries, did he catch him? No. Just throw him for the Netherlands.
Yeah, I think Hincapie saw the contact coming and went down a little bit easy. But it's clearly offside.
Offside, miles offside. The players played Gakpo in. Gakpo's going to miss it anyway. And the flag goes up.
I mean,
he was so far offside.
How can he not have just put his flag up there early?
I don't get that.
10 yards?
The tight one, it was that far.
10 yards
it was
offside,
that far. Exactly. It was so far that Poncherello and John would have struggled to catch up on their bikes by the time that Gakpo hit the shot. Jeremy Sarmiento, another Brighton player, coming into the action. Good to see him in action because he has struggled with injuries since joining Brighton. Just 20 years old, a couple of substitute appearances in the Premier League this season. This is 11th cap for his country, and he comes on for Michael Estrada. So, 17 minutes to play, gets a massive hug, Estrada, from his manager. Put a shift in, I think the phrase goes. And it absolutely epitomised the spirit that all these Ecuadorian players have shown in this game. Netherlands won, Ecuador won. Free kick Ecuador for the offside. Hernan Galindez gets ready to take, fires it downfield, high into the night sky. Van Dijk gets up early, wins the header, falls over the back of Enner Valencia, ends up in a crumpled heap on the floor. But the free kick does belong to the Netherlands. 16 minutes to go. Blint down the left, looking for Berghuis. Berghuis is not going to beat Perozo and then drags Perozo down. That'll be a free kick for Ecuador. I don't know whether the fact the final game is against Qatar sort of means that the Netherlands, I don't know, subconsciously feel more comfortable. Louis van Gaal doesn't seem overly stressing on that bench.
His sun's out as well, isn't it?
Yeah. Van Gaal, well, that's, yeah. Ball cleared by Galindez. Down the right-hand side. Header won by Ake. There's Mendes, plays it to his right. And Platter's never going to catch that. That was a clearance more than a pass down the right-hand side. Game's got a little bit scrappy and untidy. Attendance figures just come up on the big screen. 44,833 inside the Khalifa International Stadium.
And the capacity is, I've heard like mixed capacities. It's kind of moved around.
The capacities have been revised, I think, Matt, since the tournament started. Is the best way that I would put that, because I think we had close to 90,000 in the Lusail Stadium for the Brazilian game last night, and it did look like that, and it did certainly feel like that. It was a real atmosphere in there. Berghuis on the ball for the Netherlands, just inside Ecuador's half. Timber plays across the halfway line to De Jong. I'd like him to be a little more influential. Look at me trying to tell Louis van Gaal what to do with this.
They've just not had enough impact on the game. The creative players that the Dutch have just haven't really been able to get that foothold and do anything special other than that amazing finish from Gakpo that got them the goal.
Estepinian plays to his left. That's the substitute Sarmiento. Ball comes back into Ecuador's half, into the last 15 minutes of the game. People getting ready at home for England's second game of the tournament up against the USA. Full commentary on the way from 7 o'clock here on 5 Live and BBC Sounds. Here's Platter. Platter's ball up to the halfway line. Sarmiento picks it up. He's trying to get away in midfield here from Timber, who's stuck with him all the way. Timber's clung on to him, though, fouled him. Free kick for Ecuador. Wouldn't be at all surprised if Ecuador go on and win this game.
Absolutely
really
not.
Wouldn't.
Absolutely not. They've done really well, actually. It's been a good performance from them. They've shown some good passing, and when they have gone forwards, they've linked up quite well, and they do it with just real purpose. You know, they've got a presence about them. When they go and do something, they commit fully, and it's been a good performance from them.
Torres, ball over the top towards Valencia, jumps with Ake. Ake wins the header. It bounces loose on the edge of the Dutch box. Here's Blint. Blint side foots one forward. Berghuis tries to flick it on in midfield. Sarmiento heads it down to Estepinian. Berghuis too quick for him, rushes in, nicks the ball off him, knocks it out for a throw into Ecuador on the left-hand side. England, USA tonight, Matt, how are you feeling ahead of it? I mean, you saw England live in the first game. They looked very positive in that one.
Yeah, very good. I'm looking forward to be honest. And I think, you know, if England have gone into the background and now they're playing again, and I think it's good for the players. I think we're in a good place. Interested to see the team and what changes there may be, but if any.
And like you said, Matt, as well, listening to Raheem Sterling earlier on in the show, talking about please don't put too much pressure on Bellingham and Saka and that. But it's only because people are so excited about the foot. They brought that fantastic club form into the game. Now, Ecuador are just giving the ball away on the edge of their own box, but Gakpo can't do anything with it because immediately Ecuador sense the danger, are right back on it, and they're buzzing around now. Move through midfield. Mendes tries to lay back on it. And they're buzzing around now. Move through midfield. Mendes tries to lay it off to Estepinian. Might get a second chance here. He's fouled. Another free kick for Ecuador just inside their own half.
There's another lovely little piece of movement and tying. You know, their runs off the ball, Ecuador, have been really good today. They see the space, they see the opportunity, somebody anticipates, wins the ball, and then they've got players moving in exactly the right direction at the right time, and they've just got some nice passing combinations as well that kind of break through the midfield, and all of a sudden they're running at the back three.
Double change coming. Martin de Roon is coming on, and Wout Weghorst is coming on up front. Koop Miners comes off, and Gakpo, the goal scorer, comes off. So Wout Weghorst, people will know that name, currently playing his club football at Besiktas on loan from Burnley. If you remember, he was signed in January to try and dig them out of relegation trouble. Did score a couple of goals, but that was all he could manage. Burnley couldn't stay in the Premier League. He's out there now for the Netherlands, trying to see if he can find a winner in the game, but Ecuador has certainly looked more likely. Weghorst, first thing he's done is actually give the ball away. Ecuador attacking down the left with Estepinian. Martin de Roon is right with him. Forces him out wide to the left-hand side. Estepinian struggles to keep his balance, keeps the ball in play, wins the corner for Ecuador in front of a massive stretch of Ecuadorian fans in the yellow shirts.
Dangerous situation for the Dutch now. We've seen how Ecuador have enjoyed these set pieces. They really do come up and are very organised in terms of organised chaos almost. They like to clump together, really make life difficult for the Dutch to get hold of anyone and maybe mark man to man. They really bunch up. I'm looking at Hincapié just leaning into Van Dijk, whoever it is, all the time, just trying to unsettle the defenders.
Barroso and Torres, the two centre-backs, have linked arms, and they're just moving. Now they make separate runs. Barroso to the near post. The ball is beyond him. He goes to the far post. Valencia jumps, comes out to Preciado, hits the ball on the bounce, and smashes it miles over the bar.
He's good in the air, Valencia, isn't he? I don't know, he's not the tallest, is he? But he just times it well. He's got a good leap.
Yeah.
They look for him a lot from wide areas.
Lucas Moore is another one like that. Good in the air. Little fellow is good in the air. Ake.
There's a lot of little fellas that are good in the air.
Blint plays down the left. Barroso intercepts. Caicedo. Ball to Sarmiento, who's had a bit more zip to this Ecuador performance. Netherlands 1, Ecuador 1. Into the last 10 minutes of the game. England, USA is on the way. Ball is back with Felix Torres in his light blue boots. Plays across to Barroso. Barroso chips it forward. Nice control from Plata. Keeps the ball. Caicedo plays it in midfield. Mendes lays it back to Torres. He just sweetly kills it with his left.
Fucking line. Ja, fucking line.
كمل الماتش.
مشكلة كبيرة الشيخ. والله جاي تكيت fucking line تصدق. ينخدل. شكون اللي يلعبوها؟
إيطاليا إيطاليا وهذه إيطاليا إيطاليا وهذه ماشي إيطاليا إنجلترا.
But for me, it's just a little bit lackluster. Not enough energy, not enough oomph to their performance to really do it all. And you know, I felt Ecuador were probably deservedly could have won that game.
And I think what you said during the second half summed it up, Matt. If you're an England fan or a Wales fan and thinking about potential opponents in the last 16, and Wales obviously have to beat England in the final game to even give themselves a chance of doing that, on this evidence today, you would be more fearful of facing Ecuador than the Netherlands. Couple of lackluster performances from the Netherlands so far, but they're yet to be beaten. Won the first game against Senegal. This one has finished 1-1. Enner Valencia, of course, got the equaliser for Ecuador, and that's how it finished here, Kelly, 1-1.
Ali, thank you very much. That game between Senegal and Ecuador on Tuesday is going to be crucial in terms of qualification from this group for the knockout stages. Netherlands, though, Matt, as Ali and you were saying, miss out on the chance to become the first nation to qualify. The big question of them before this tournament was, where are they going to get their goals from? That's part of the reason they look so lackluster.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, you look at their attacking players, they're not quite the ilk of what you'd expect of great Dutch teams. So I think that area of the pitch is somewhere that they're waiting for that development more to happen. But it was a little bit more than that today, Kelly, in terms of like the whole team was just a bit flat. There wasn't a lot of intensity. I didn't think the back players really came forwards with the ball and drove any kind when they had possession in terms of making passes, breaking lines. And it was just not enough energy. And when you compare that to Ecuador and how they approached it in the surges of the pace, especially in wide areas and crosses, some real positivity, they threw everything at this game, and you could tell by the way they played. I didn't get that feel from the Dutch.
Qatar then are not going to make it to the knockout stages. I think I'm right in saying, Ali, and you will know this, that they're the first host nations to lose 2 group games in a World Cup, and that means that they put in particularly poor performances. There was a sort of gathering in the Musharraf area of Doha last night to try and garner some support for the Qatar national team, but they haven't exactly covered themselves in glory, other than about 25 minutes of their game today.
Yeah, that's right, Kelly. It was the only performance that was so disappointing. They looked really poor in that game, and obviously have lost again today. The fact that you come up with that stat makes me believe it must be true, because you are the voice of authority, Kelly. But I mean, I think it is
really the person who reads Twitter.
But I think, it was always going to be difficult for them, and they've done a lot of work as a team to try and get ready for the tournament. I mean, again, qualifying as hosts, not playing competitive football is so difficult. They've just looked well off it. They've just looked miles off it in that first game. You have to say, as a host nation, that has been a really, really poor showing.
Alistair Bruce-Ball, Matthew Upson, thank you very much. So it will finish Netherlands 1, Ecuador 1. It sent Qatar out of the World Cup. They will not make it to the knockout stages of this competition, and it leaves it wide open going into the 3rd round of matches in Group A. It's a huge night for England. They take on the USA at the Al Bayt Stadium. It is unusually an unchanged England starting 11. We will get much more on the build-up to this game that kicks off at 7 o'clock tonight. Night after the BBC News with Richard Foster.
Take the World Cup with you.
Yeah, everyone. Buddy wants everyone. Andreas Norberts. 6 Punkte. Nathan Aki. 7.3. Virgil van Dijk 7.1. 6.6 Julian Chamber. Dali Blind 6.8. Frankie de Jong 7.7. Sewing Cup Miners 6.9. Denzel Dumfries 6.6. David Klassen 6.8. Steven Bergwijn 6.5. 7.2 Goody Gakpo
They reached a record 500,000. So far, they haven't said what a low quality degree actually.
the news. Herman Galindez the news. Herman 6.2. So 6.9. Felix Torres 6.8. Piero Hincapi 6.9. Angelo Preciado 6.6. Gegen Mendes 6.7. 6.3. Moasis Quisido Elvis Stupinian 6.7. Ener Valencia Tbilisi Valencia 7 Punkte. Michel Estrada 6.9. Pass. Hey. Class live.